Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for this 2021-22 season. My name is Dan and welcome to the GW32 strategy stream. Now I am, those of you who are not watching this live, this video is being recorded directly after Arsenal have just lost 3-0 to Crystal Palace. So shall we get the banter out the way first before we do anything else? Jesus Christ. I mean, that was shocking. That really was. That's the worst Arsenal performance I've seen in quite a while. But at the same time, the best Crystal Palace performance I've seen in a while. They played really well. I mean, you've got to hold your hands up. Crystal Palace were the better team on the day. You can't really doubt that. Mateta had a really good game. Anderson had a really good game in defence there as well. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That was an unexpected result, and to be honest, I don't really want to talk about it too much from an Arsenal perspective because that's not what this channel's about really. But as an Arsenal fan, obviously I'm quite disappointed by that one. As an FPL fan, I'm pretty disappointed by it as well. I had Ramsdale in goal, Saka in my midfield as well. I did bench Lacazette, but that's another question, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, look, at least it's going to make this top four race a little bit more interesting, right, guys? I mean, what more could we ask for? I mean, whatever. It's whatever. Let's switch focus to FPL because I feel like that is just that's just better. It's just better to switch focus. But before we do that, let's just remember that was a freak result. Arsenal are still going to be favourites to finish in the top four. That's I am thinking about that. I think Arsenal are still in a pole position to finish top four. I don't think it's panic stations yet, and it's definitely not time to say, oh, Arsenal must be terrible. I know you guys are going to be thinking that, and to be honest, if people are now selling their Arsenal players after that, then fair enough. That's on you. I'm certainly not going to be overreacting to that result. What I will say is that further evidence that Crystal Palace are definitely a really good team to get involved on. We have been saying that for a while. To be fair, we've been saying Mateta looks really good at the moment. I kind of spoke about potentially getting in a Tyrick Mitchell earlier on today in earlier's video. So yeah, but what I did want to what I will talk about is my fantasy team, which is doing pretty well. It's actually doing pretty well. So I think that's a good thing, I suppose. Up to 200. Actually, I need to update that. My overall, as things currently stand, I know the game week is not over yet, but I'm up to 278th actually, which is really good. It's a really good position to be in. Quite happy with that, to be honest. That is, one thing I am happy about. Still got 3 players to play left because I've got 3 Burnley players for some reason. So still 3 players to go. I'm imagining that I may be able to get to 250 or something like that. Even without my Burnley players doing anything, I should probably get to about 250th. And after that, maybe we get a clean sheet from Roberts, so maybe a goal from Weghorst or Cornet. We are, Burnley are playing against Everton after all, so you never know, could get a little result there. And if so, that's going to look pretty good. So, in terms of FPL, we're flying at the moment. It's been a really, really good game week, to be honest. We're, absolutely soaring. The goal is still for me to finish in the top 1K. That's still my goal. We are well on target for that. But I would be lying if I didn't say I have one eye on top 100 right now, because I kind of do have one eye on a top 100 finish, and I might maybe try and see if I can do anything a little bit different to try and make that happen. Go with some differentials or something like that. It's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about. But what I think we want to talk about the most today is the fixture announcements, because that's what's happened. That's what's happened today. Really, really frustrating. Earlier on today, I posted a video predicting the fixtures. I was up till 4 a.m. last night working out where fixtures were likely to go, trying to figure out where's the most likely to be double game weeks and stuff like that. I did get some of them wrong, which is kind of surprising, actually. I'm kind of surprised by some of the fixture announcements. Some of them don't, particularly the Crystal Palace in Game Week 37 fixture announcements. It didn't make perfect sense to me, to be honest. I don't really fully understand why that's gone there, because if Crystal Palace progress in the FA Cup, they're going to have to move the fixture that they've just rescheduled for them. They're going to have to move it again. So it doesn't really make sense to me, but oh well, that's the way things are. But guys, because I messed up basically in a few things on my video earlier, what I have done, guys, is I've updated the graphic of the upcoming fixtures. So I've updated that to with all of the most up-to-date information, and we can have a look at that and kind of discuss that. So let me get that up on screen now. If I can find it, let's just get rid of that as well, just so things look a bit nicer and clearer and cleaner. So here it is, guys. This is my updated graphic of predicted fixtures. Some of them are confirmed. I mean, I say some of them are confirmed. There's still a lot of scope for things to move around. Like I say, if Crystal Palace go to beat Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final and, you know, go through to the final, that final will take place in Game Week 37, which will mean Crystal Palace can't have a double game week in 37, which was the one thing I was kind of confused about. So I can see that, you know, maybe a game there, Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa, potentially moving to Game Week 35, potentially. That would make a little bit more sense for it to go there. It would be certainly safer for it to go there. But there we go. This on screen right now is the most up-to-date, best prediction I can possibly come up with of what the final fixtures are going to look like between now and the end of the season. This is where I would speculate that all of the remaining fixtures are going to go. It does include a West Ham blank in 37. I think that's pretty much going to happen. I am thinking that Chelsea are going to have a double-double there in 36 and 37. We can see that who else has got a double-double? Aston Villa with a double-double, pretty likely. Everton with a double-double in 36 and 37. And yeah, Leicester. It's just Leicester, Chelsea, and Aston Villa with double-doubles, which is okay. And Everton, obviously, but, you know, are we really going to buy Everton players? Maybe not. But yeah, it definitely raises some interesting points of what kind of players we want to be targeting. I think there are, for me personally, I'm kind of actually looking at this and I'm kind of thinking about maybe actually bench boosting in 33, because my bench boost in 33 doesn't actually look too bad, personally. It's going to be different for you guys. It kind of depends what players you have. If you still have Aston Villa, Leeds and Wolves players, you're probably not going to be thinking about bench boosting in 33. But if not, you know, bench boost 36 is still very much on. That Game Week 36 is looking really good for a bench boost. You know, Arsenal with a double, Aston Villa with a double, Chelsea, what other big teams there are doubling? Liverpool, Man City, Spurs, West Ham potentially doubling there as well, according to my prediction anyway. So that really could be a phenomenal double game week. Like, really good. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 teams will double out of 20. And the ones that aren't doubling are teams like, you know, Brighton, Brentford, you know, Manchester United, Wolves, teams that you probably wouldn't want players from anyway. Burnley there as well with a single game week in Game Week 36. So you're going to be in a really good position for Game Week 36, pretty much whatever you do. So I think that's a really good opportunity for a bench boost. I don't think you're probably not going to need a wild card into that bench boost either, which is something I've been saying for a while, that I didn't think we would need to wild card into a bench boost 36, because it always looked like it was going to be so good. And now it's really coming together that it is really, really looking like it's going to be an amazing double game week. Yeah, definitely potential for bench boosts there, but in particular, I don't think a free hit would be kind of luxury in Game Week 36. You could free hit for Game Week 36, but honestly, I'm kind of looking through this, and you're probably not going to need a free hit to do well in Game Week 36. If we're completely honest, because you're already going to have a few Arsenal players, you're already going to have a few Spurs players. You're going to try and get you're going to have Cancelo. You're possibly going to go for another Man City player, maybe a De Bruyne or someone like that, which could be really nice. Newcastle and West Ham there. You're already going to have those Liverpool players. They play Tottenham and Aston Villa. So, you know, triple up on Liverpool is going to do you really, really nicely in Game Week 36 as well. So, naturally, you are going to find yourself a really nice team for Game Week 36. And I think that is really brilliant, particularly for those of you guys who don't have many chips left. I think you're going to be kind of grateful. I'm going to be kind of grateful for that. Game Week 37 is also looking like it's going to be somewhat of a double game week. You can see there that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams with a double in 37. Again, just according to my predictions, it's not 100% going to be like this. But I'm reasonably confident that this is going to be reasonably accurate. It's going to depend on a few things. But when we kind of look through this Game Week 37 double, I kind of look at it and I think, do we really want to be targeting a lot of these teams? You know, Burnley, Chelsea in a heavy rotation week. There'll be loads of rotation there, particularly if Chelsea are going further in the cup competitions. That's going to be a nightmare double game week for them, really. You know, it's going to be a double game week where they actually play 4 fixtures within the space of 8 days. So you can expect heavy rotation from Chelsea there. Maybe Crystal Palace are a good team to target in that double game week, to be fair. Everton, you're not going to target. Wolves, you're probably not going to target too much either. So, game week 37, double game week, it's not looking amazing. Not looking amazing, if I'm honest. And I think some of the single game week players and teams will perform just as well. You can see Liverpool got Southampton, City have got Wolves, Arsenal have got Newcastle. So, these are kind of Tottenham have got Burnley at home. So, you kind of look through these and you kind of think, probably the single game week players are going to do just as well as the double game week players. Especially if you're comparing kind of a Harry Kane against Burnley on a single game week versus, I don't know, who else have we got? Like a Crystal Palace, a Mateta with a double game week, or a Watkins with a double game week. You would say that Kane is going to outperform that against Burnley. So, yeah, overall, 37 is it's looking kind of good. Yeah, you guys saying clean my camera. What's going on with my camera? Honestly, I actually don't know. Why do I look so shiny today? I don't think it's is it the cleanliness of the camera? Is that improved it? Actually, that kind of has. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what was going on with my camera there. I just need a little wipe. There we go. I still look kind of orange, but I think that's just my natural hue, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an orange looking guy, a yellow looking guy. Maybe I just look pale yellow because of the result of Arsenal today. I don't know. I thought I looked angelic personally before, but if that's not your jam, then that's fair enough. But back to FPL. Back to FPL. Looking through this, there is definitely going to be some opportunities. There could be a double in 34, 35. Possibly there is scope for a double in 34 or 35, but it is looking like all of the remaining fixtures can just slot into game week 36 and 37, and everything is going to be pretty hunky-dory, pretty nice in that zone. So yeah, that's going to be where we really are going to be thinking about using our chips, to be honest. Possibly game week 33 as well. I don't know if you guys are, potentially planning on free hitting in game week 36 as well. Is it worth it? I don't know. We kind of look, again, if you look through the teams doubling in 33, you're already going to have Arsenal players, and then it's Brighton, Burnley, Leicester, Man United, Newcastle, Southampton. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. I mean, none of them are real nice double game weeks anyway, are they? Manchester United, one of their games is away against Liverpool. The home game against Norwich is pretty nice. Maybe, if you were to free hit there, maybe it might be quite nice to get a couple of Manchester United players in very, very temporarily and then remove them again. To be honest, you could even go for a Manchester United player this game week. You've got Everton this coming game week, and then Norwich, Liverpool in the double in the following game week. And then after that, you're probably not going to want to have Manchester United players in for the rest of the season, to be honest. Maybe you would. Maybe with Brentford, Brighton, it's okay, but Brighton in that double game week, you're not going to want Manchester United players in there. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's kind of the lay of the land. That is what the double game weeks are most likely to look like. Tech XEO says hoping City double in 37 instead of 36 would be prime free hit 37, and that is very true. And that is also a possibility for City to double in 37. I do think it is more likely that they're going to double in 36, though, to be honest. That is going to depend on how well... it's going to depend on two things. Do Man City beat Liverpool in the FA Cup semi-finals? If they do... If Man City beat Liverpool in the FA Cup semi-finals, then City's double game week has to go in 36. Pretty much has to go in 36. It's not going to go anywhere else. It can't go in 37 then. So, if you are targeting a free hit in 37, what you really want is Liverpool to beat City in the FA Cup, which would make it a little bit more likely for Man City to double in 37. But still, it's far from guaranteed that will happen anyway. It still could just go in 36. 36 is the most clear one for it to go on. I'm wondering if they're waiting actually until after the FA Cup to announce that fixture. But at the same time, they didn't do that with... who didn't they do that with? Crystal Palace. So maybe actually they're waiting for Champions League to be concluded. In which case, maybe they're actually thinking about not thinking about City in a double game week in 37, but actually thinking about Man City to double in a 35. That would require City to be dumped out of the Champions League and lose to Atleti, which I can't really see happening. You would say that Man City beat Atletico Madrid, wouldn't you? So therefore, 35 is not really likely. Yeah, overall, I mean, like I say, it really just seems so likely that City are going to double in 36. I can't tell you that for sure, but it really is just, there's so many things to suggest that City would double in 36. But obviously things can very quickly change in FPL. That is the way things go. I still do think that if West Ham win against Lyon in the Europa League, even though they would have to get past Barcelona in the semis in order to have the blank in 37, it would be a disaster if West Ham got to the final and then couldn't play a fixture in game week 37. So it makes sense for the Premier League to get ahead of this one a little bit and actually schedule West Ham to play Man City in game week 36 instead, which again is why I think there's another good reason why Man City might double in 36. As soon as West Ham beat Lyon, it's kind of like we can't afford to wait to see if we can't afford to wait and see if West Ham beat Barca in the semis. I mean, assuming Barcelona even get through the quarters. I mean, I have made a big leap there, I suppose. It will just have to move it, and that would leave us with a Man City double there. But even if not, Man City could play against Wolves in 36 instead and have that one there. So there we go. That is your lot. That is what I think things are going to look like. Which I can't remember which ones are the ones that are not confirmed yet. I guess it will be where West Ham versus Man City goes. It will be where Man City versus Wolves goes. It will be where Chelsea versus Leicester goes. We're not sure about that one yet. And honestly, even though it has been announced where the Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace game is going to go, until we find out if Crystal Palace win or lose in the FA Cup, until we find that out, we can't even say for certain that's going to be a double in 37 either. I mean, that could... a few switches around, maybe that can go in 35. With even more switches around, that could go into 36 as well. And it could get a little bit messy, which again is why I'm so surprised they've actually put that there, because things actually might need to change quite significantly if Crystal Palace beat Chelsea in the semi-finals. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's probably pretty unlikely, but we saw tonight's result, and you kind of feel like Crystal Palace's performance and result today and Chelsea's performance versus Brentford a couple of days ago, you kind of look at those two performances and you maybe think, interesting. Maybe Crystal Palace, they beat Everton 4-0 in their last round of the FA Cup. Maybe Crystal Palace do go through. Maybe Chelsea are going to have to prioritise a little bit some of the other competitions. Prioritise the Premier League, prioritise the Champions League. What do Chelsea want to win the most? They're going to definitely want to make sure they stay in the top four in the Premier League, and that's looking less likely. They are probably going to prefer to, Chelsea fans, I'm sure you guys will agree with me, the Champions League, you're the reigning champions. You're going to really want to win that. Obviously, you play against Real Madrid, which is going to be a really tough game, but that's where the strong teams are going to be. You're going to put out a really strong team against Real Madrid. You're going to put out strong teams in the Premier League, especially we've got Arsenal and West Ham coming up there as well. Is Crystal Palace in the FA Cup actually going to be a priority? I don't know that it is. To be honest. So we may find that Crystal Palace do actually genuinely beat Chelsea, which is a good thing for Chelsea really, because it would mean that they won't have such an insane fixture schedule later on in the season, because it really is looking like it could be insane. I kind of feel a little bit bad for Chelsea's schedule, what it's looking like at the end of the season, assuming they go through in all tournaments, because they're going to be all over the place. They really are going to be. It's going to go absolutely crazy. There we go. Right. Let's have a look at my team, because I don't know. I like to use my team as an example of what I'm kind of thinking right now. This is a strategy stream. I like to talk a little bit about my strategy and what I'm thinking right now, where I'm thinking about going in terms of what I'm going to do with my team. After that, we'll open up the floor, we'll take some questions, and we'll talk about basically whatever you want to talk about. But I am going to take off this image from the screen for now. Guys, I will post this on my socials. I'll post this on Twitter and Instagram later on today if you want the full image, you know, the proper image with the full resolution and stuff like that. I will make sure you guys have access to that on social media. You can copy that and you can use it at your own leisure. I like to make these, not just for you guys, but I like to make these kind of images, these kind of graphs for myself, for my own reference, so I can kind of open it up on my phone, just the image, open it up on my phone and just kind of have a look through it and use it as a reference point when I'm kind of thinking about my team and stuff like that. So I find it really useful, and I'm hoping you guys are finding these kind of graphics useful as well. So I will put this on Instagram and Twitter at FPL Mate if you want to go follow those. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to go have a look at my team very quickly here. So, oh God, what am I doing? There we are. So this is my team for next game week 32. I know 31 hasn't technically finished yet, but here we are for game week 32. As you can kind of see, I've got a bit of a predicament in the sense of who do you get rid of? Who do you get rid of? Well, like I've got two transfers in the bank for this game week, and really not really sure where to use them. I know a lot of people will be saying, "Oh, just get rid of some Burnley players. You know, get rid of them. You know, just lose the lot of them. Get someone else in." Bear in mind, I've only got 0.2 million in the bank, so straight moves from Burnley players to other players is not particularly easy at this present moment. I don't really want to get rid of Burnley players because, as we know, Burnley have got another double game week, what you might call a slightly easier double game week, next game week, which is against West Ham and an out-of-form Southampton team. So I think, you know, although you're probably not massively hyped up for Burnley players for that, you probably still kind of want to keep them. I mean, you can do a lot worse, even if they're just getting 4-pointers and stuff like that. I don't think you need to rush Burnley players out. Certainly after 33, Burnley players can get in the bin, particularly if we are looking at this image where Burnley, their next double isn't until game week 37. You know, they play Wolves in 34, Watford in 35, Aston Villa in 36. Fair enough. They are not horrible fixtures. They're not bad fixtures at all, really. But do we trust triple Burnley? Do we trust double Burnley? Do we even trust one Burnley player against Wolves, Watford and Aston Villa? The answer to that is probably not. Probably not. We wouldn't expect too many points from them in single game weeks. They are only worth keeping, really, on double game weeks. And I don't think they're worth holding throughout, 34, 35, 36, just waiting for 37. I don't think it's worth it. You may as well get rid of them. You look at their game week 37 double. It's against Spurs and Aston Villa. 2 tough away games. Not happening, really, is it? It's not happening. Even if you do keep them, it's just not going to be amazing points. It's not going to be points galore for you or anything like that. The only Burnley player I would probably say is worth keeping is Nick Pope. I mean, there's an argument to say Weghorst just because there's no one else to switch him to, but I'm sure the arguments for switching a Weghorst over to a Mateta at this present moment, you can probably make a fairly compelling argument to do that. So, that's kind of the lay of the land, and that's why I think, after 33, Burnley players, all of them pretty much can go. Nick Pope would be the only player I would really, really actually advocate for keeping. The rest is kind of like, why keep them? Why keep them? There's not much reason to keep them. So, looking at my team, I'm sure you guys agree with me by now. There is no, even though I've got 2 transfers, there is no logical transfer for me to make. Who am I going to bring in? What is this team seriously missing? Well, it's missing Harry Kane, but the only way I'd be able to do that is by losing Son or Salah, which is something I definitely do not want to do. I could think about getting in De Bruyne. Again, it would mean I'd have to lose Son or Salah. I could think about getting in a Chelsea defender, maybe a Reece James. I'm kind of worried about Reece James maybe being prioritised in the Champions League now. He has had so many injuries. They are going to look after him a little bit better now, I think, Chelsea, and not try and rush him back so quickly anymore, and kind of manage his minutes, particularly in the Premier League. So I can't really see Reece James being nailed on enough for me to move heaven and earth to bring them in. So Kai Havertz, again, it's going to cost me Son or Salah. There's just a lot of reasons that I just don't need to make a transfer this game week. I like where there's nothing to do. There's just nothing to do, particularly in my starting 11 and in terms of bringing in players that I would be starting this game week. There's nothing I can do. I can't afford to get a Maddison or a Barnes. I don't have enough money in the bank. So, guys, overall, the move that I'm thinking about is actually trying to plan for the future. And I think that's what you got to do when you're in a luxury situation like this, where you don't really need to make a transfer, but you've got to make a transfer because you've got 2 banked. You may as well make a luxury transfer. And the luxury transfer I'm thinking of is actually removing De Gea and replacing him with Schmeichel. Now, that's not to say I would be playing Schmeichel immediately. I wouldn't be playing Schmeichel immediately. I would be playing Ramsdale. So I'd still play Ramsdale against Brighton at home. I'd still be playing Ramsdale in the double game week, Southampton away, Chelsea away. I'd still prefer Ramsdale in those games. You know, say what you want about today's result. Doesn't really factor in. It was a one-off result. I'm not gonna base my entire thought process on that. We're gonna go for Schmeichel instead of De Gea. That frees up a tiny little bit amount of money there, but more importantly, it gets me a second goalkeeper who I really actually would quite like. So this brings me back to this screenshot. It brings me back here. So what we now have, if I bring in Schmeichel in for De Gea, it gives me some extra double game weeks, really. It looks like it only gives me 1 extra double game week because what we do is we would definitely play Schmeichel in game week 37. So where Leicester have a double game week versus Watford and Chelsea, we've got a nice double game week for Schmeichel to come in there instead of Ramsdale for that game, for that double game week there. We've also still got a bench boost, and we're going to play our bench boost probably in 36, possibly in 33. And those 2 game weeks are, again, game weeks where Leicester have a double game week. So we will see Schmeichel playing a double game week whilst on my bench at the same time as Ramsdale's playing a double game week starting, I suppose. So yeah, we'll get a double game week from Schmeichel in one of 33 or 36, and also in 37 where we'll be playing him ahead of Ramsdale. So that kind of works. That brings me to the question of, after that, what do I do? Do I actually go ahead with a bench boost in 33? Do I wait for game week 36? So far from my calculations today, and they are just rough calculations and predicting points and predicting results and stuff like that, I am thinking that the points potential of a game week 36 bench boost is higher than 33. The points potential is higher. Like, that is just a fact. The difficulty is that if you are bench boosting in 36, it means that you kind of have to spend quite a few weeks actually dedicating your transfers to building a really nice bench boost team for the 36. You have to kind of have to essentially revolve your whole FPL life, your whole FPL experience, revolve it all around trying to sort something out for game week 36, for 1 game week only. You're trying to figure out that. Again, another problem with this is that you can't take money off your bench. If I was to bench boost, or if any of you guys were to bench boost in game week 33, what that would mean is that after game week 33, you could stop having all of these expensive players on your bench. You wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. You could just go for players like, you could go for Ramsey on your bench. You could go for a 4.5 forward because you know you're never going to play 3 forwards at the same time in a game week. The forwards just aren't good enough. You can just downgrade your forwards. Really, really easy, really simple. Just do that and love life. Love life with your forwards really, really cheap. And you can just do that for the rest of the season. That's going to free up a lot of money, which is going to allow you to get some really nice players. It's going to allow you to get in, maybe allow you to make the move from like a Son to a De Bruyne, for example. Or, maybe even triple up on premiums. Go Salah, De Bruyne, and Son, for example. Kane would probably be a step too far there, but you could go for Salah, De Bruyne, and Son all in the same team because you're able to free up money from your bench by downgrading your bench players, and you can only do that if you have already used your bench boost. So that would be an advantage of a game week 33 bench boost. So you can see what I'm kind of saying here. There are some nice advantages to going for a game week 33 bench boost, i.e. you get to focus your transfers on anything else and you can focus on your first 11, you can remove the money from your bench and just focus on getting a good scores every single game week, buying in those players, bringing in those players that you actually want, shifting your team around a lot, maybe buying some differentials and making some luxury differential transfers that you wouldn't have previously been able to do if you were focusing entirely on building that game week 36 bench boost team. So yeah, hopefully guys, that makes sense as to why I'm a little bit conflicted, and certainly I haven't committed to a decision yet. And even by going for Schmeichel this game week, using my spare transfer on De Gea to Schmeichel, it still leaves me very open. It still gives me a very clear option as to whether I'm going to bench boost Schmeichel for his games against Newcastle and Everton in 36, which is a decent couple of fixtures for Schmeichel there, or I could bench boost in 36 and have Schmeichel for Everton and Norwich again. Really phenomenal double game week there as well for him. In fact, that Everton and Norwich game, both at home for Leicester, you wonder if that's a double clean sheet. You wonder if that's a 10-point plus just for your bench goalkeeper alone, which would be really good indeed, wouldn't it? So there we go. But guys, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you my team. I'm going to show you my team and what it actually looks like for these future game weeks. I'm going to be using a website called FPL.team, which I've been using a little bit recently, to be fair, and actually kind of enjoying this. I kind of like this website. It's pretty good. And basically, FPL.team is a website where you can plan for future game weeks. It works pretty well like that. I know there's other tools that do the same thing. I think Live FPL have this same tool as well. So, if you prefer other tools, that's absolutely fine. I'm just showing you this one. I think it looks pretty good. It looks pretty smart. And, you can get an idea of what my team is looking like. So this is game week 32. This is my game week 32 and game week 32 fixtures. So what I would be doing is I'd be removing De Gea, and I would be bringing in Schmeichel, and I was still, and then I would have that. That would be what my team looks like. Well, actually no, because that's all completely wrong. But this would be what my team looks like. Probably, pretty much like that. That would be what my team would look like for game week 32. We would probably captain Son and vice captain Salah provisionally. Yeah, I mean it's pretty likely that's what I'm going to end up with. But yeah, so that's what we would do there, and that would be, I think, I genuinely think a pretty strong team for game week 32. If I'm honest, I'm not. There's nothing I feel that is particularly missing from this. I think it looks good. I'd be pretty happy with that. We've got that triple Spurs, which I think will do really well against Aston Villa again. We've got triple Arsenal against Brighton. I know Arsenal had a bad result today, but they will be very keen to hit the ground running again at home. And Brighton are just very weak team at the moment. We've got some Liverpool players playing Man City players, but I think this game is going to be a game that both teams will just be more worried about not losing. So I could easily see one of Liverpool or City, or maybe even both, keeping a clean sheet. In which case, if that's a 0-0 and neither team's, it's an absolute stalemate, which is a total possibility, because I can't, unless there's some early goals, I can't see it being a massive scoring game. Unless one team goes 2-0 up, it's probably going to be pretty cagey, and both teams will be more focused on not losing than actually winning. I think that'll be beneficial to both of them, and they could just focus on winning their games outside of that fixture. If that is 0-0, and I think that's a real possibility, then that's going to be phenomenal. At the same time, even if it's not a 0-0, even if there is goals and stuff like that, we know for a fact that Cancelo, Robertson, Trent, Salah are all capable of exploding against even the toughest of oppositions. It happens all the time. So those of you guys thinking about benching some of your City or Liverpool players just because it's a tough fixture, remember the quality of players that we're dealing with. We are talking about the best players in football. We're talking about the best players in FPL. They will perform in any game. That's why they cost so much. That's why they're the premiums. Whether that's a premium midfielder or a premium defender, they are premiums for a reason, because they can perform in any game, and you back them in any game, and that is what I feel like you should be doing. And you can take a risk by not doing that, which is absolutely fine. It's fine to take a risk, but I think the sensible move is to play them. So that will be my game week 32 team, looking pretty good, looking pretty happy and smart, and everything is wonderful and amazing. Moving on to the following game week. And now I'm hoping you guys really can see my benching dilemma here and why I'm seriously considering a bench boost. Because at this point, I will still have 2 transfers to use. I will have 2 banked transfers at this point. even after making the Schmeichel move, because it'll be the following game week. I've still got spare transfer. And already, before making any transfers whatsoever, who on earth do I bench? The starting 11 is probably my best team. Probably. I mean, maybe you would play like a Weghorst instead of a Roberts and then maybe move that like that. Who do you play out of Ramsdale and Schmeichel? I mean, there's argument to play Schmeichel, I suppose, because that Chelsea game is kind of tough. And maybe you think that might be better there. So, you could maybe and err about which goalkeeper to play. But even when you do that, who on earth do we bench? Who do you bench? You're not going to bench Doherty against Brighton. You're not going to bench Cancelo against Brighton. You're not going to bench any of your Liverpool players against Manchester United at home, knowing what happened last time. Who are you benching here? Lacazette has a double game week. Saka has a double game week. Weghorst has a double game week. So who do you bench? It's impossible. It's impossible to actually bench any of these players. Like, what? It's crazy, right? It's absolutely crazy. So it then becomes a question of how many points is this bench going to score? If you can't play any of them, how many points are they going to score? Schmeichel, Newcastle away, Everton away. What are we saying? I don't know. Maybe one clean sheet and one not clean sheet. You could say maybe provisionally, you could probably guess that would be about an 8-pointer on average. 7-8-pointer on average, you would say that game week is for him. So let's say 8 points. Roberts against West Ham and Southampton. Are we getting a clean sheet out of Burnley there? Probably not. Probably not, but maybe. Again, if you're thinking about what is the average expected score from Roberts, probably 4 points. Maxwell Cornet, probably, 4 or 5 points because there is a potential for a goal return. I'm not talking about what they will score. I'm talking about what the average you would expect. So say, if they've got a 50% chance of getting an assist over the double game week, you'd give them 1.5 points for that kind of thing. So, you say, maybe Cornet gets a 5 points. So, Schmeichel 8, Roberts 4, that's up to 12. Cornet 5, that puts us up to 17. Broja in a double game week, looks okay. Actually, is Broja a little bit of a rotation risk? Yeah, I suppose so. What we're expecting, probably a 3 from him, to be honest. We probably don't expect too much from Broja at this point. Which brings us to how many points, guys? 8 for Schmeichel, 4 for Roberts, that's 12. 5 for Cornet. Okay, well, that gives us 20 points. That's a 20-point bench. Is 20 points? And this is assuming that we don't really get any returns on that bench. 20 points. That's a good bench boost. 20 points. If you are offered 20 points on your bench boost at the beginning of the season, you probably take it. You don't definitely take it. You could maybe hope for a little bit more, but you maybe take that. 20 points is a good bench boost. I know we're kind of hoping for more, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And remember, guys, I would also still have 2 transfers. So, we could make this bench even better if we wanted to. Now, the problem here is I would still have 2 transfers, but where on earth would I use them? Like, I'm serious, where? Game week 33. Remember, the guys, my bench is pretty cheap as it is. I would have to maybe think about downgrading someone else. Maybe downgrading a Lacazette in order to do something. Who would I bring in for that double game week in 33? Arsenal players, I already have 3. Brighton, Spurs and City, I don't think so. Burnley, already have 3. Leicester, Newcastle and Everton. It's not a bad double game week, but how strong is Leicester's team going to be? There's going to be rotation there. We've already got Schmeichel. We could maybe think about going for a Maddison or a Barnes. To be fair, don't mind the idea of going for a Maddison or a Barnes there. Manchester United, their players are just too expensive. It's not really realistic for me to get in any of their players. Newcastle, Leicester and Crystal Palace is not a bad double game week, but again, who are we going for? Sam Maximan, Wood, Willock or Fraser in midfield? Probably not at this point. They're probably a little bit of a thing in the past. Maybe you go for a defender. Maybe you go for Fabian Schär there. It might not be a horrible idea, but Newcastle players, are you going to want them going into the future? Probably not. That'd be for one game week only. Southampton, Arsenal and Burnley. It's not amazing. Again, which Southampton players are we going for? It's really difficult. It's really difficult. So, yeah, it just leaves us with some more questions. I mean, one thing we could do potentially is to maybe do like if we took out Lacazette and maybe replace him with a forward who has a double game week, like I guess like Sam Maximan maybe. We'll bring in Sam Maximan, and also then we would be freeing up a little bit of money. We'd have a little bit of spare cash, and we could swap out Cornet for a Maddison maybe, and suddenly, why isn't that one not working? Cornet for Maddison, and then really the bench boost looks like that. So that would be spending my 2 transfers and getting that bench boost. It looks a little bit better, doesn't it? But it's still not amazing. I mean, actually, you probably have it like that, wouldn't you? So that looks a little bit better, but not amazing. Don't know. Again, what's the best we're hoping for here? Can we address the Broja situation? Transfer him for someone? The question is who? Who on earth would we transfer Broja to? So, yeah, it's oh, you can't see my team. Sorry, guys. There we go. Sorry. Yeah, so that's what it would look like. Something like that for a bench boost team. I don't know. Kulusevski to Maddison. I don't know. It's really, really difficult to figure out how to get a good bench boost to 33. It's going to be more of a case of just whatever you so happen to have on your bench, just roll with that, because it's pretty difficult to actually improve it, because there's just not much going on, particularly in the ways of cheap players. For 33, there's not really much going on compared to if I mean, should we plan our transfers all the way? We could try. I mean, I did kind of tinker with planning my transfers all the way for a game week 36 bench boost. Oh, that's broken apparently. Don't know why that's broken. Oh, the joys of technology on a stream, hey guys. Can we go back to the home page? Oh, let me just try reset that. But guys, you see my predicament. You see my predicament. It's kind of yeah, it's not letting me back on the website at the moment. I don't know why. Is my internet dropped? I mean, I'm still streaming, so no idea. Maybe the website has crashed because some of you guys are maybe looking at it now. Oh, I think it is coming back. But you guys, you kind of see what I mean. The bench boost in 33 is kind of tempting, but at the same time, what? I'm gonna be benching points, which is, I know that the screen is dark at the moment. I've turned it off because I can't get onto this website. I think I'm gonna give up on that. Yeah, I'm gonna give up on that and just bring this back. Yeah, basically it's a predicament. Maybe I just need to go into game week 33, accept that I'm going to be benching points, and just focus on building that game week 36 game week 36 bench boost instead. Because like I say, although 20 points, which is probably roughly what would be looking at for a 33 bench boost, although that's pretty good, if we are prepared to focus our attention instead on game week 36, can we do better? Maybe. I think we can. I don't really know how I'm going to compare it to game week 36 bench boost because the website that I was using has kind of crashed. I don't really know what's going on with it. I can't really fix it. Oh God, now what's happening? Oh my word. Yeah, this ain't good. That's not what things should look like. That is definitely not what things should look like. Usually, guys, I'll promise you, this is usually a very good website. But it's apparently giving me some nonsense when we want to use it. But yeah, I'm going to try and show you the plan to Gameweek 36 if I can get this website to work. Here we go. We're in. So okay, let's have a look at a 36 bench boost. So between Gameweek 32, which is now, and Gameweek 36, I will have a total of how many transfers? 2 now, 2 for 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So 6 free transfers. So I'm just going to go all the way to Gameweek 36. I believe they have added in the fixtures for 36, or at least some of them. Okay, yeah, some, but not all of them have been added in. So let's, again, we are at this point assuming that City are going to have a double game week there as well, because if they do, that's, huge. And then if that is the case, then already without having to do anything, including Schmeichel, which will be this game week's transfer, I already have 11 double game week players. So it's a case of first of all, I've got 5 after Schmeichel. I have 5 free transfers. It would be a case of getting rid of Cornet, Weghorst, Broja, and Roberts, those 4 players, and replacing them with double game week players. So who would we get? I mean, we'd probably go Cornet to a Ramsey, because he is just such good value. And also, if I bring this screenshot up here again, we've got a double-double for Aston Villa. So, Ramsey in that double is good. And then we've got another in 37 as well. I mean, potentially, like I say, if Crystal Palace go through to the FA Cup final, they're going to go... That Aston Villa double game week could happen in 35, for example, which means that Aston Villa will double in 35 and 36, which would be even better. So, yeah, Aston Villa player would probably be a good idea, basically, to have in that game week. So, yes, we'd have that. After that... we need to replace Weghorst, Broja, and Roberts, and then we've got 1 luxury transfer as well. Who would we go for? So, I mean, the problem is forwards mostly, because originally I expected Palace to have a 36 double, which made Mateta a really, really obvious, nice answer. What forwards are you going for here? It's difficult. I mean, maybe you just go for Mateta in a single game week against Watford. I mean, that wouldn't be too bad, and he could just carry him over to game week 37, and where he has the double there. Probably, potentially. So actually, maybe even on a single game week, that might be not bad. I mean, we've got Watford there as well, Crystal Palace and Everton, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Do we trust Cucho? He's still looking good. Cucho is still looking good, and it's a pretty nice double. So, okay, provisionally, for the sake of this video, let's downgrade our forwards, because we want to free up a little bit of money anyway, to Mateta, who will have a single, most likely, but not definitely. And who else did I say? Cucho, who will be playing for Watford, possibly scrapping to try and not get relegated by that point, on a pretty decent double game week. Let's see what he can do. He's looked good. He has looked really good, to be fair. And then we've got Roberts to replace then after. And then 1 more luxury transfer. So, in terms of defenders here, again, before, when I was drafting this, I had Mitchell in here. Or Tyrick Mitchell, because I thought Crystal Palace would double here. But apparently that's not going to be the case. So, cheap defenders. Another answer, potentially. You could go for... This is potentially controversial. But bear with me, this is potentially controversial, but you could go for the really super nice and cheap. I don't know if you guys are going to like this or not. All right, I'm just going to do it. Godfrey. No, I definitely meant Holgate. Holgate. Really cheap, 4.2 million. The double game week isn't bad, and he has a double-double. He's reasonably nailed on. That frees up for me 3.2 million. Oh, I need to remove that screenshot as well whilst I'm doing that. That frees up for me 3.2 million, which allows me to do Son to De Bruyne, and with spare money as well. So we could go even further here. we could take a -4 and, like, I don't know, bring in someone else. Don't know who. We could do Ramsey to Coutinho, maybe. Can we afford that? Almost. Not quite. Don't know. There's options. There's options. I don't know. Maybe we can even keep Son. Maybe we could even take a minus, Your Highness, and bring in Harry Kane. Yeah, Kane. Yeah, it's too sideways. It's too sideways. Too sideways. I am tempted by De Bruyne. I'm actually tempted to go for him a little bit earlier as well, if I can make it happen. That would be back to Lacazette. We could maybe actually not even go for the cheap Holgate and go for someone else. Who else is looking pretty nice at that kind of time? Matty Cash. Maybe Reece James? Possibly? For the double-double and just kind of hope he plays? It's not bad. It's not bad. It's an option. Can I afford that? Yes, I could afford that, assuming prices don't change too much. It's and then I guess the bench boost really looks like this. Hello, amazing bench boost, and most of these players double also in game week 36 as well. The ones that I'm bringing in. James will double in 36 as well. Mateta will double in game week 36 as well. Not 36, 37. I mean, Ramsey will double in 37 as well. Schmeichel will double in 37 as well. Created a good bench boost for 36 and have double game week players for 37. It's an option, right? These are probably the kind of players that you're going to be looking at. Yeah. And then after that, after I do that, and I did kind of toy with this earlier, you can go to the next game week 37, and maybe, just maybe, for the final games of the season, if we look at City's final games of the season, Wolves away, Aston Villa at home, it's okay, it's not bad. But Spurs chasing top 4, you could then, boom, De Bruyne, Lacazette out for Kane, boom. De Bruyne out for Kai Havertz on the double game week. Again, pushing for pushing for Champions League spots potentially. Double game week in 37, single game week against Watford in 38, and take the -4 in 37 to do this. And then this game week 37 team, hooey mama, looks pretty good. That would be Schmeichel in there. That would be, you potentially think about playing Mateta as well. I'm not really sure instead of who. Maybe instead of Kulusevski. And you'd have something like that for game week 37. Directly after your bench boost, boom, you got Schmeichel, James, Havertz, Ramsey, Mateta, 5 players all on double game weeks. You would have Kane, for his end of season insanity. You would have all of these players who are playing for top teams, chasing major prizes. You've got Arsenal players in there. I know they're on the bench, but you could have Arsenal players in chasing top 4. You have Spurs players in there chasing top 4. You'll have Chelsea players in there potentially chasing top 4 at that time. You've got Cancelo, you've got Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, Salah. All of these players are going to be really going for it to try and make sure they win the league. This is pretty good. We wouldn't captain Ramsey, obviously, but maybe we captain Havertz. Maybe. I don't know. Not going to say anything on that one. If I speak, I fear I am in big trouble. But maybe you could do something like that, and that would look really good. So when I think about like going through this in my head with you guys, I'm actually kind of thinking maybe that is the way. Because we can still do something really nice for the end of the season and have some big... there's going to be some huge differentials in here. Havertz is going to be differential by this point. Mateta's going to be differential. We're going to have this super stacked defense. It's going to be pretty insane if we can pull this off. Jeremy says, and you will be chasing top 100. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'll be chasing top 100. I would have just come off the back of a really nice bench boost. Hopefully a really nice bench boost. And yeah. So that is the other option. And we've not even spoken about, you know, Goldhead in the chat says you need to have Maddison or Barnes in, simple as. Yeah, I don't think it's as simple as that, if I'm honest. But we've not even had to look at Maddison or Barnes by doing all this, and it still looks really amazing. On Maddison and Barnes, I think I kind of may have touched on this earlier. You look at these Leicester games, and although they have double game weeks, there's gonna be rotation. Leicester are going to be focusing all of their attention on the Europa Conference League, to be honest. So there is going to be a little bit of rotation. It's going to be tough. I'm not saying they're bad picks. I still think they're good picks. But I don't think you need to break your neck to get them in. Maybe I do get them in. Maybe I'll try and get in a Leicester player. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind getting in a Maddison, to be honest, if it's possible. I can't really find out how. I can't really figure out how it is easily possible. I mean, hang on. I mean, let's just refresh this and have a quick look to see if I can do it easily. Because if so, I mean, maybe that's an option. Let's go to Gameweek 33. We will have, by that point, Schmeichel, which will free up a little bit of money. And then, well, we will have probably, yeah, like I say, it will be something like this for Gameweek 33. As things stand, we could take out, I mean, if we're not bench boosting, we could actually swap out Cornet for Maddison. It does stretch my money later down the line. It will probably mean I won't be able to get Reece James in. And I would have to downgrade someone else. So I will probably therefore downgrade, I don't know, Weghorst to Mateta and do that like a little bit earlier. Because I will have 2 transfers to do that in, to be fair. But yeah, that will allow me to get in a Maddison. Or I could get in Barnes, to be fair. I know you can't see it's there. There we go. That, and then it would look kind of like that. I need to stop this. I need to get rid of this stupid thing. Why do I keep leaving it on screen? I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, and then if I was to get Maddison, it would look something like that. In Gameweek 33. No bench boost. That would mean no bench boost. If I'm getting in Maddison, it pretty much is meaning I'm not going to bench boost. Because I would have to weaken my bench in order to do that. But there we go, guys. I've spoken so much about my team. I didn't think I would spend so much time speaking about my team, to be honest. I do hope it's been reasonably helpful, though. You know, just kind of going through the thought processes of stuff. Like I say, it's the strategy stream where we strategize, and I did strategize, I suppose, in this stream. But I do feel a bit bad that I haven't really answered many of your questions, and we're pretty much at the end of the stream now. I'll maybe answer a few quick ones very quickly now. We've got a question from Matthew Vaughan, who says, is Salah and Watkins to Kane and Maddison a good move? I'm not going to advocate for selling Salah. I do think that's knee-jerk. Salah is not going to perform badly forever. Fair enough, you might think he's in a bit of a run of bad form at the moment, but people were saying the same thing about Heung-min Son 2 weeks ago, and Son is not even as good of a player as Salah is. And look what's happened over the last 2 game weeks. So things change very quickly, especially when we're talking about the top players. The top players don't suddenly become bad overnight. It just doesn't happen. So I'm not going to advocate for selling Salah. I know he's playing against Man City. I just don't think so. And what other questions have we got? Wildcard 33 thoughts. Again, I mean, look, people ask me all the time, should I wildcard? This is the right week to wildcard. It's going to be so different depending on who's in your team right now, when you're planning on using your chips, how many chips you have left, which chips you have left. It's always very, very team dependent on when you should wildcard most of the time. I don't think you should hold yourself to only wildcarding at certain times. So if you hate your team, basically, it's probably the time to wildcard for you. Maddison or Barnes? I do prefer Maddison at this point. I think he's a little bit streakier. So, yeah, I would go for Maddison over Barnes given the choice. But Barnes is a little bit cheaper, so don't feel bad if you can only afford Barnes. They're pretty much on the level, but I do slightly prefer Maddison at the moment. Stian says, how is FPL Focal doing this game week? I think he's had a bit of a nightmare game week, to be honest. I think. I don't actually know for sure. Well, I'm sure I saw him on Twitter earlier that he says he wasn't doing so hot, to be honest. Yeah, he's on 25 points so far. So, yeah, we're on course to stay number 1 in the Content Creators League, which is all good in the hood. Can't really complain about that one. So, yeah. And let's see what else. Anything else here that's interesting? Best Tierney replacement. Reece James could be interesting, yeah, but I don't know if I would. If you don't have Doherty yet, maybe he's the one to go for. Or maybe go for a double game week player. Fabian Schär or something like that, a double game week player for 33. Get there nice and early. Is Reece James too much of a gamble? I think he is enough of a gamble that he's not essential. I don't think you absolutely must get him. It looks like he's going to be kind of nursed back to health slowly. And right this second, Champions League is probably the priority for Reece James right now, not the Premier League. So if he's only going to be getting a certain amount of minutes, not so many minutes in the Premier League, it might be just worth waiting and see how the Champions League plays out for Chelsea before going in on Reece James. Bashu says, could we consider Justin as a punt play for upcoming doubles? Potentially, but again, Leicester I expect them to kind of rotate as they focus on the Conference League. Sujajit says, what website is this? This is FPL.team. KH3 says, don't have Salah, forgot to make transfers, so would leaving him out versus City be a good thing? I think you can afford to wait one more week, yeah, if you don't already have him. Tom says, what do you think as a 1 week punt if you're thinking free hit and going with 33 and then wildcard in 34? So 1 week punt for this game week, I don't know, who would we be looking at? Who have we got in game week 32 that looks pretty good? You can maybe look at Jared Bowen maybe against Brentford. You could maybe look at Kai Havertz against Southampton, but then again, probably not. I don't know. I don't know if this is a great week for a 1 week punt, to be honest. I mean, certainly, Kulusevski, Doherty, Kane, Son, aside from that, it's difficult. I don't think it's a great week for a 1 week punt, if I'm completely honest with you. So, yeah, sorry if that's not the answer that you were hoping for. Jarvis says, who will be the big surprise last couple of game weeks? Lukaku, King, Wilson, Ings? I don't know. Jared Bowen to come back into mad form. That's what I think. Real Cold World says, Daka and Iheanacho, just avoid them both. It's not worth the rotation risk. Vogue says, Chelsea rotate too much. Not sure if James will start. Yeah, I agree with that. Fab says, hi, Dan, new to the channel. Are there any plans on making a podcast? Yeah, I think we're going to try and do some podcast stuff over the summer. And if it goes well, we'll carry it on into next season. Steve says, Bo, you're my next target. I'm guessing you're trying to catch up with me. Calvin says, DCL, what do you reckon? No. Focal sold Son to buy Salah. Really unfortunate swing. Yeah, that is an unfortunate swing. And, going into this game, you would probably say that was a sensible move. To sell Son for Salah sounds good to me. It really does. And, yeah, we're going to leave that there. I'm sorry, guys, for not answering too many questions, but I don't want this stream to last too long because I want this to be rewatchable as a video as well. So there we go. Thank you guys for joining me on stream. If you're watching it live, you guys are absolute legends. If you're watching the replay, you guys are legends too. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like before you disappear on the channel, on the video, on the stream, whatever, that would be actually massively, massively appreciated, guys. It really does help out the channel so much when you guys leave these ratings. So yeah, those of you guys who always leave likes and stuff, honestly, you guys are absolute legends. You're carrying the channel, basically, so thank you. If you're new around here, please do feel free to subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. Usually it's not so much rambling about my own team. Usually we do talk about some other different topics and stuff. But unfortunately not today, but that's just the way things go. Aside from that, what we got this week? We got Buy, Sell, Keep, Avoid on Tuesday. Tomorrow we've got 100 Experts on Wednesday. We've got my team selection on Thursday, and it's is it Friday game? It is a Friday game this game week. So we'll do a preview stream on Friday early afternoon. So maybe like midday UK time, and then we'll do a deadline stream just before the deadline on Friday as well, and that will conclude today's draws. How does that sound, guys? All right? Hopefully all right. But yeah, thanks so much for watching once again, guys, and I will see you hopefully on tomorrow's video. See you later, mates. Bye-bye.